Alright, here we are for our second match. Our opponent is mulliganing. This hand is pretty weak. Without mana acceleration, our first play is turn 3 Boon Satyr, and we don't really have... I mean, we can potentially Boon Satyr, then Crater's Claws, but without mana accelerator, that's pretty slow. I think I'm going to mulligan this. I don't particularly like this hand. Well, this hand has no land, so we're going to mulligan it. The first hand I think is kind of the borderline, but Crater's Claws is not really like a particularly great card without, particularly on the draw without like the ability to actually enable casting it quickly. So we're gonna mulligan again, and this is actually better than either of the other hands. We do have acceleration and the mana to actually cast stuff. All right, so it looks like our opponent is Abzan. Well, we're going to open with a Bivouac. I want to give myself a little bit more opportunity to draw cards before I go scrying. I can go Bivouac into Rattleclaw and then still play. Alright, well, this hand's actually pretty good now, despite starting with 5 cards. I'm going to play Rattleclaw here. Well, do I want to play Rattleclaw or Heir of the Wilds? Like, our opponent's likely play is something like Courser of Kruphix. I think I actually want to play Heir of the Wilds and get some beatdowns in. Yeah, I'm gonna play Heir. If my opponent plays like Caryatid or Courser, I think I'd rather have Heir in play Rattleclaw and tap land next turn. Then I potentially have the ability to bestow Boon Satyr as well. There's a Courser. He planes on top. Alright, we're going to... Well, we'll go ahead and attack first. You want to block? Whoa, you do. Alright. Well, that's even better than... It's like way better than casting. I don't think I want another land. We're gonna bottom that. It's way better than I was expecting would happen. I was getting to trade that with Courser. I was hoping to just get damage in past a Courser, but we actually got to kill one. Maybe he's a second Courser or something. That seems like a strange block to me. Maybe he has Siege Rhino and he's hoping to not trade with my Siege Rhino. All right. Well, there's another Courser. I didn't even know that this was like this alternate Courser. Or did it? No, there wasn't. I was gonna say, like, it looked weird when he played it. Whoa, Gray Merchant. What's going on over there? There's some fishiness. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna sack this. We're gonna go at a mountain or forest. We'll get a mountain and play a Phoenix. I don't really know what's actually happening with that Gray Merchant on top of his deck. I'm a little concerned. We know he has one of his cards in hand is Plains because we saw him draw it. So there's another Courser. We know he has Gray Merchant, Plains are the known cards for my opponent. If he doesn't have an Abzan Charm, then my Phoenix is potentially... this probably isn't... Ooh, a Whip of Erebos. Okay. That makes a lot more sense with him playing that... Gray Merchant. So I think I just want to play Knuckle Blade and attack with both of these. His hand is Gray Merchant and Unknown card. I don't particularly want to just Crater's Claw this. So, here. Red, green, blue, red, haste. So, I'm... with him, like, most likely attacking back with this. If he doesn't attack back with it and he tries to, like, play a Courser and block, he basically attacks me. Like, I hit him for 8, then he attacks me back, and and gains 2. And then potentially plays. All right, there's a Llanowar Waste land. So we know he has the Gray Merchant in hand. So I actually think I'm just gonna. Ooh, Downfall's annoying. Downfall's quite annoying. Alright, so here's, yep, Gray Merchant is going to gain 4. He's going to attack me. Crater's Claw. Alright, well I think I want to just attack with Ashclad Phoenix and Boon Satyr it. So I hit him for 8, put him to 13. If he kills it, I can flip it back up, and this can get in the way of these guys if they attack me. The Great Merchant's actually kind of threatening. Stab Wound? What world do we live in that my opponent has a Stab Wound on top of his deck? So if he downfalls this, then attacks me for 4. Oh, I don't know. Okay, we're at his first main phase. Is he going to downfall this? Okay, he's going to downfall this and attack me for 4. So he goes to 17. Oh, he has another spell. Oh, do you have an additional Courser or something? Okay, right. He had another Courser. So he goes to 17. I attack him for 8. Put him to 9. I can only. So if I attack him for 8, put him to 9, then he has a Stab Wound and an unknown card, a Courser in his yard. So this is actually kind of awkward. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can hit him for 14 this turn. And then he can. It's not very good though. Huh? This game's been really awkward. This whip is doing a lot of work. I could kill this and hit him for. I end up doing a little bit less damage that way. I do 10 to him, putting him to 7. This dies, but then he can whip it back. So and hit me for 6, putting me to 3. And he would go to what, I think over 10. So he goes to 7, then he goes to, or no, yeah, 7 plus 6, 13, and then I can hit him for 8. I think that kills him. Let me make sure I'm like actually doing math right. 10. So if I Crater's Claws this, and then attack him for 10, puts him to 7. Then if he, I guess it matters if he reveals a land. If he hits a land, then he whips one back, gains 2 life. So he goes to 9, and then he attacks and goes to 15, and then I can attack for 8, and then Crater's Claw for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So actually kill him. Yes. Okay. This does work, I think. Crater's Claw. This for 2. Okay. I think I still win through Stab Wound too, because then he doesn't gain as much life. Maybe not through Stab Wound and him hitting a land. Attack you for 10. Caryatid. So that's basically a blank. I can like stab wound this, but it still hits him for 6, and then I can still Crater's Claw. So I think he's dead, unless his one unknown card is like something really good. Like Whip and Stab Wound basically do the same thing of gaining him 2 life. I'm really looking forward to bringing in Reclamation Sage. I'm gonna say that right now. I feel like I'm in good shape though. If he has a land, then he whips that back. Well, if his land actually may be bad, so it'd be 6. Well, he's going to combat, so he's not using Whip. If he has another instant removal spell, I'm dead, because you can just take out Phoenix. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Alright, well, if Grey Merchant also kills me. I suppose I could have blocked, but then I'm not... Yeah, oh well. So the unknown card being Grey Merchant did kill me. If I block, I don't think I win. But alright, so sideboard-wise, Lightning Strike's pretty bad here. Stubborn Denial feels pretty bad. Most of his real threat cards are actually relatively... are actually creatures. Reclamation Siege seems great. Hunt the Hunter seems like it's probably pretty good. Hard to say. Chandra also seems good. Disdainful Stroke seems good. Hunt the Hunter seems mediocre. It can kill Carriot or Corsair, which is nice. Maybe Chandra's not very good. Disdainful Stroke stops Whip, stops Grey Merchant, both of which seem good. Stubborn Denial does protect my creatures from removal, and he did have several different removals, but I mean, maybe Hunt the Hunter is probably my weakest card of these. Chandra does seem good because it actually punches my creatures through blockers, and it feels like against Whip in particular, that's pretty powerful, stopping him from being able to... He also doesn't have very many ways to pressure it, and just the card advantage seems it can be valuable. Critter's Claws, he doesn't seem to have that many things that I really care about killing early, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that. We'll try this. It's a weird deck. I mean, I did double mulligan that game and narrowly lost. So, you know, things almost went my way, and it was literally there was one unknown card, and it was you know, exactly a card that could kill me. Felt like I was probably gonna win, but all right, we'll play first. This hand is good. We will keep. We have Rattleclaw, potentially double Heir of the Wilds if we want to do that. Go that route. So, Swamp, what you got? Thoughtseizing me? Alright. My hand's fine without any of these individual cards, so Thoughtseize is not a huge deal here. Rattleclaw Mystic is the one that I would least like to lose because, you know, it's both a body and mana acceleration, but I can live without it. And we lose that, which is fine. And we drew another one. So, just going to go ahead, we're going to get a Mountain, play a Rattleclaw, had it. He plays a tap land. That's pretty good for me. I'm just gonna go ahead and play 2 Heir of the Wilds. We didn't see Bile Blight from him. We saw some weird cards like Stab Wound. So it seems very difficult that he's gonna have both cards like Stab Wound and Bile Blight in his deck. So I don't feel any issue here. So I'm just going to go ahead and attack with all 3 of these. I do feel like I may have some reason to be concerned about Drown in Sorrow. So I don't really just want to. I could just like play a Rattleclaw here, morphed, but Drown in Sorrow would be really bad for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and wait it out, let him take his turn. I can end step Boon Satyr or bestow Boon Satyr depending on what he does. All right, so Siege Rhino. I'm just gonna untap. Disdainful Stroke. That's a pretty good draw. I'm just gonna go ahead and attack here. I'm fine trading. I don't want to Disdainful Stroke here or bestow Boon Satyr here. I'm just gonna hit him, and I'm gonna hold Boon Satyr and Disdainful Stroke. If he plays like a whip or something, I want to be able to Disdainful Stroke it. If not, I'm gonna bestow Boon Satyr on something. There's whip, so we're gonna counter that. So now, if I hadn't been playing around Drown in Sorrow, I would be in a pretty. He would be pretty much dead here. Get to attack with a Boon Satyr to bestow. Whoa, he's just attacking me. All right, aren't you just dead? Literally, he's dead on board now. I guess you could have like, what is it? The 1 mana -3/-3 Ulcerate. But, oops, I didn't mean to tap that. Yeah, okay, he's dead. He knew I had Boon Satyr too. That was a little bit of a mistake on my opponent's part. So maybe Chandra's not that good against Siege Rhino, and I don't really have great ways to fight Siege Rhino. Maybe I shouldn't have Chandra in my deck. Maybe I should have Crater's Claw instead of that. Maybe I should have Hunt the Hunter too. Hunt the Hunter is pretty good at killing rhinos. Maybe Nissa's good. Maybe Nissa's good. He has a lot of like relatively small dudes. Like he doesn't have giant creatures. I'm gonna try Nissa. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Chandra, yeah, Chandra doesn't seem fantastic. I'm thinking about it a little bit more. All right, we're gonna go ahead and keep this. It's not great. We definitely love to draw a mana creature, but we do have, you know, reasonable selection of spells and lands and spells. Thoughtseize a little bit annoying. We lose, I imagine, our Knuckleblade, but we do still have, yeah, we do still have totally reasonable selection of stuff to do. Land not what we were looking for, but I will leave the Knuckleblade on top. So I think I actually want to swamp. I actually think I'm going to end step Boon Satyr rather than play Knuckleblade, just to match up better against his mana usage. If he has downfall here, I'd much rather have him like downfall my Boon Satyr or get hit by Boon Satyr and, you know, not have necessarily have downfall for Knuckleblade. And if he plays a Siege Rhino, I can actually Crater's Claw it, end step Boon Satyr and Crater's Claw it. Alright, so we're going to cast this. And now, maybe he'll just try and kill this before I untap with mana. And that's exactly what looks like to be happening. And now I get to hit him with Knuckle Blade. So this matches up way better against his mana. So red, blue, and this is one of those just sort of little things where, you know, the obvious play is like, oh, Knuckle Claw is really powerful, Knuckle Blade is really powerful, I want to play him on turn 3. But the way that ultimately I sequence my spells, he wasn't able to like use his turn 3 to cast Abzan Charm, or it was an Abzan Charm, right? Or if he had Downfall, you know, he also used Abzan Charm on what wasn't my best creature. Whip of Erebos. That doesn't do anything right now. That's one of the one of the obvious problems with Whip is it is a low impact card when you when your board is clear, which my opponent's is right now. And we're gonna hit him for a lot. Ooh, oh dear. Well, I was gonna hit him for a ton of damage, but instead I'm gonna actually make a Nissa and make a land into a creature. So you are now a creature. You are attacking. So now we were actually in an incredible spot here. Our opponent is lethaled by Crater's Claws next turn, I think. He's probably going to do something that's going to get, you know, going to do something that matters, but yeah, we actually can Crater's Claws this. I animate a land and kill him. Maybe this should just be in my deck. Probably not, but it's certainly powerful. Can I just I can't Crater's Claw him for like 10 here, can I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 5 plus 5. I can untap 2 forests. No, I can only do it for 9. Curses. Well, let's go ahead and animate another land. Kill that. He can't even Abzan Charm it, so I can just do it for 2. This Nissa is powerful right here. I even have different. I don't know. I assume they retain their names, so you can't Bioblight. I animated a forest and a mountain, so he couldn't Bioblight and reduce damage by more than 3. I guess he's not dead if he's a Bioblight. He goes to 1. Or Downfall. Oh, my opponent is chatting with me. All right. Well, we are victorious. I keep clicking off and the chat's going away. But anyway, it's a pretty interesting match, you know. It's always interesting when your opponent is playing a deck that you don't really necessarily know and you have to, you know, judge just sort of based on the things you might expect to see out of them. And we didn't really see anything particularly weird that you know, threw things off. We did see the Stab Wound in the first game, and that was a little bit, you know, unusual. We, you know, ultimately it was the Gray Merchant that got us, but we were able to come back. And yeah, both Disdainful Stroke and Nissa were pretty powerful there. Mostly just, you know, our deck is just full of efficient creatures. You know, it's just full of really efficient things that don't really require synergy to function. And you know, our opponent stumbled a little bit and didn't really have what he needed to compete. And our sort of more straightforward plan took the day. That game, though, I do really think the key moment in that game was the third turn, you know, passing, playing Boonsater end step, then playing Knuckleblade and attack. It's really important to think to recognize that Knuckleblade is a lot more valuable as a 4-drop than it is in a 3-drop because it has haste. For the additional mana, you're able to give it haste. And you know, setting yourself up so that your plays put yourself in an opponent where they're not able to maximize the use of their own mana is a really big deal. And we're able to put our opponent in a position where he couldn't cast a 3-mana removal spell to kill our Knuckleblade or whatever we played on turn 3 because we just said go and played our instant creature. So anyway, that is it for this. Let's go on to the third round.